Hi, 5th grade. This recording is so that I don't have to repeat myself a million times when I'm meeting with literature circle groups. I meet with 5 groups and I would say the same thing over and over again. So this way I only have to say it once, and if you need to hear it again, then you can watch my video multiple times to remind yourself what to do. So what is a literature circle? Well, a literature circle is when you meet as a group to discuss literature, or a novel, or a book. So these are 5 novels we're going to be reading this first part. They all have a theme, and we'll have to see if you figure out our theme, but we're going to be reading either My Side of the Mountain, Island of the Blue Dolphins, Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim, Hoot, or Among the Hidden. Now, Literature Circle has etiquette that comes along with it. The first and most important thing is that you should always come prepared to Literature Circle on your assigned day. You will know what your assigned day is, and it'll be a day of this 5-day cycle. You should come prepared with a pencil, your book, your Literature Circle folder, which I will give you, with your work completed for the week. You also should be ready to discuss and share about what you read. Now, when we talk about discussion, we want to talk about proper communication techniques, and we've been talking about that since the first day of school. You want to use good eye contact with your group. You do not want to interrupt when other group members are talking. In fact, one group member will be serving as the leader, so that person will sit in my teacher chair at the table, and I'll sit in one of the students' chairs. That person is in charge of keeping the conversation moving and keeping track of what everyone is basically doing and if they are participating, and they need to keep the conversation on track and make sure it does not stray to other topics. Students that are not in Literature Circle, which will be the rest of you the other 4 days of the week, you will not be interrupting the group or myself. I have actually a star on my table, and when the star is lit, that means that you do not interrupt Mrs. Worrell. So if you have any questions, you can ask any of your other classmates, or there's always a parent volunteer in the classroom to help as well. This way I can really focus on what's going on in Literature Circle, and those group members aren't distracted as well. This is actually the rubric here that we're going to be using for the group. So the leader will get this task checklist, and they'll put each person from the group's name on there, and they'll be receiving a number from 1 to 4. 1 means that you are completely off task, you were goofing around, you were unkind to other group members. Group number 2 means you were off task some of the time, you might have lost some of your pages, you were unkind to group members. 3 is that you were on task most of the time. We're not going to be reading out loud together, so these 2 tasks here, losing your spot, basically you need to make sure that you are paying attention and you're with me and you're adding to the group and you're being kind to everyone else. In order to get a 4, you need to be on task all times, have your work completed, being kind and helpful, and staying with us and participating. Now, what do I expect of you? You need to read your assignment by the due date. When can you read? You can read during independent work, at home, during silent reading time, or before 9:10 or after 3 o'clock. You need to have completed your job while reading the assignment. Now, I will tell you what the jobs are in just a few moments. I will show you the sheets that you'll be looking at. You need to use proper communication techniques. Sorry about that. And if you are absent, you are the responsible one to find out what your next assignment is. When your book is complete, you should have the plot, theme, and synthesizing sheet complete. So what I will tell you is all about these sheets. You're probably like, what is she talking about? Well, I'm about to show you now. Each of you will receive a folder that coincides with the story that you're going to be reading. Within that folder, you will find 3 blue pieces of paper. Those pieces of paper are pages that you're going to be filling out throughout the whole process of the Literature Circle. So this one that you're seeing right now is one of them, the plot structure diagram. So you're going to be filling this out throughout the whole process of reading. So some of them you might get on the very first day, like the characters and the setting. But others you're going to be waiting for the very end, such as the resolution or the theme. So it's an ongoing process that you should be filling out throughout. If there's more rising action than just 3, remember the rising action isn't every single event that happens. It's the most important event that is connected to the conflict or the problem. There's actually a worksheet that goes along with this, page number 2, that looks like this, that will help you complete the plot structure. So it gives you some more details on how to do it. Like it says the conflict is between the hero, the protagonist, and the enemy, the antagonist. It might not necessarily be a conflict in your story. It might be a problem. There might be a problem between the hero and some other force greater than itself. So that's the one form you're going to be filling out, and that one will be blue. This one will also be blue. Theme is the heart of the story. We actually talked about this all this week, so I created a worksheet that was right along with what we were talking about with the heart. So by the end of reading your story, you should know the theme, and you should be finding evidence throughout of that theme. You might suspect what the theme is while you're reading. I would just keep notes on that and then solve this part at the end by filling in the theme and the evidence of it. The last sheet you're going to fill out throughout the whole process is the synthesizer sheet. Now this sheet is important because it's going to show how your thoughts change throughout the whole process of reading this story. So before you read, and I'll prompt you this in your group on the very first day, is to write down your thoughts about the book before you even read it. What do you know about it? What are your thoughts about it? What's your opinion of it? Those kinds of things will be in this box. And then while you're reading, maybe halfway through the story, I will prompt your whole group to discuss what your thoughts are currently. And then lastly, on the day that you finish the book, you'll fill this last box in. After you finish the book, what are your thoughts? And you'll be able to see how your thoughts changed or maybe even stayed the same as you're reading. Now I mentioned that you have an assignment every time that you meet for Lit Circle, and that would be this. It's going to be in a packet, it's going to be white, and everyone's will be in a different order. That's because every single person will get a job assigned to them. So right now I'm going to go through the 6 jobs. It makes a lot of sense for me to teach it to you now using the computer, because then when we're in group, you can ask questions about them and we can actually get to work and start practicing them instead of hearing me talk. So much more interesting to have you guys try it. So if you have any questions while I'm going over this, it would be a good idea to have maybe a notepad or a post-it note right next to you by the computer. So if you have any questions for me, we can address them when you meet in your group. So one of the first jobs here is the leader. The leader is also the person that's going to be grading the students in the group, and you're going to be keeping track of their behaviors. Have they been doing their work? Are they participating? You'll also get to sit in the teacher chair. The leader is making sure that the discussion's moving smoothly and that students are getting a better understanding of their book. You're also responsible for noting anything with the character, so their personalities, their traits, and you must cite evidence from the text. So that's what these boxes are for. You're going to put what character, what trait does that character have, and how do you know? Where in the book did it tell you that that character is an angry person, or that character has no confidence in themselves? Where is that evidence? So you might be putting page numbers, paragraph numbers, or just even citing a sentence or two in the evidence. The next job is the connector. And the connector's job is to make connections to the text. There's very many ways to do that, and I have them all listed here. Text to text, text to self, text to world, or text to media. And media is a new one that I'm introducing in 5th grade. That's like television shows, movies, YouTube videos, things that you've seen in media that connect with the story. Maybe those might be a movie this time around. They may not be a YouTube video because we're doing all nature stories this time. So you write your connection and you tell me what type it is. That's the connector's job. The reactor's job is to take notes about your emotional reactions when you're reading, whether it be that you're surprised, sad, happy, angry, or some other emotion. The reactor is going to tell me what page and paragraph they felt this emotion, what was your feeling, and what was your reason for it. You were angry because you did not like the way the character was treating his friend. You were happy because the character finally solved their problem. You are also in charge of writing your opinion of the text, that's below here, and your opinion of the writer's style. Some readers do not like the way that the writer is writing. Maybe they're writing it from a point of view that you don't understand, or maybe they're using some words that are too high level for you. Maybe you love the way that they're being so descriptive. So I want you to write that down and why. You'll also notice at the bottom of every page, it's really tiny, but it says assignment due date and assignment pages. This is where you'll write down when your group is meeting, what's the date that it's due, and what pages you're required to read. Usually it's anywhere from 20 to 30 pages each assignment, just to let you know. The word watcher is a very important job. You need to note any words you may not know the meaning to. And don't tell me you know every single word. These are mostly 5th and 6th grade books that we're reading, and sometimes I don't even know all the words in it. I've been reading the books along with you here, so I can tell you every book that you're reading has some words that you won't know. So put the word here, put the page and paragraph. How was it used in the text? That means write the sentence in which it appears. Find the definition. You may use dictionary.com or our dictionaries in the classroom. And lastly, take that definition and put it into your own sentence. Now I've only had listed 2. I want you to pick 2 of the best words that are really hard for you, but you may also use a separate piece of paper I have listed here to do more words if you like. The next job is the questioner. The questioner's job is very important. You need to develop 3 to 5 questions that you have, and they are higher level thinking questions, boys and girls. They need to spark conversation within your group. They are not simple questions like recall questions like who are the main characters, where's the setting, what happened first. There are questions that go to the deep bottom depths of meaning, so you need to think about why the character's acting this way. Why did the author write it this way? What does it mean that maybe you can even put certain words, meanings of words in here for questions. So make sure they're sparking conversation. The last job is probably the most exciting. A lot of children like this one. It's to develop a visual representation. You're the visualizer. So you can create a visual from an important part of the text, not a little tiny part that was just a little paragraph that wasn't important at all. No, an important part. You need to either make a drawing, you can make a digital representation, you can build a Lego, make a collage, make a video, whatever you want. You need to be creative of that visual that you're thinking. You also need to note 2 or 3 ways that the author's using literary devices. Our literary devices we've been talking about for 2 weeks now. Maybe the author uses alliteration. Maybe they use a simile, a metaphor, onomatopoeia, or a hyperbole. Remember, we were talking about hyperbole with exaggeration with our story Thunder Rose, and how Rose was talking as soon as she was born, and she told her ma and pa that she wanted to be named Rose. Remember how exaggerated that was? Well, maybe one of your stories has an exaggeration. So what I want you to do is write the page number and the paragraph number. That is very important, by the way, because if you write the page number, we might be taking minutes upon minutes trying to find this part. But if you write the paragraph number as well, then we'll know exactly where to go. Tell me what literary device and actually give the sentence that it's used in so we can look at it and analyze it. So I hope that me giving this overview through a flipped lesson has been helpful to you. You can listen to it multiple times. In fact,
I might reference it throughout the weeks that we're reading these stories and ask you to, go back and listen to that flip lesson, maybe because you are doing something incorrect or you didn't fully understand the directions. Also remember to make sure you make any notes that you have, any questions that you have for me. When your group meets, we can talk about them and discuss and make sure everyone understands what's going on. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys on these literature circles. I think they're going to be really exciting, and I'm ready to begin.